Hey guys, this is Adam here from pre.dev, and I'm one of the founders. Excited to introduce our Architect API and MCP. And today I thought, let's build a Perplexity clone and let's compare Cursor's new plan mode to pre-dev's plan and see which does better. Um, so we're starting here on the pre-dev dashboard. We're going to install the MCP. Go to the sandbox on the left. We have this new tab. You have your API key. Hopefully no one steals mine. Simple one-click add to Claude or Cursor. We're going to add it to Cursor. You can see here it already fills this stuff in. You just click install, and then bam, it's installed. You can see three tools that we have are FastSpec, DeepSpec, and GetSpec for async requests. And FastSpec is just a more general plan. It still includes user stories and acceptance criteria. DeepSpec goes all the way down to the nitty-gritty subtask with architectural awareness. Takes a little bit longer. FastSpec's about 30, 40 seconds. DeepSpec's about 2, 3 minutes. So on the left here, I have Perplexity pre-dev plan, and then on the right, I have Perplexity cursor plan. So we're going to compare them, see which one does better. We're not going to give it that much information. We're just going to say, I want to build a Perplexity clone using free.dev fastspec. Okay, use starting to think. Okay, run MCP. And on the right, okay, here we go. You just click run. So now it's running fastspec. That'll take 30 or 40 seconds. On the right, we'll switch cursor to plan mode and say the same exact thing. I want to build a Perplexity clone. User wants to build a Perplexity clone, blah, blah, blah. You see here for FastSpec, it filled in an executive summary. Okay, this is asking some clarifying questions. We're just going to say make assumptions, be pretty general. We didn't give anything to this one either. Now they're both planning. Okay, so FastSpec's done, and so is Cursor's plan. So let's Freedom just returns a link so it could download the plan. So let's just do that. So we have pre-dev spec here. We have Perplexity, or sorry, the cursor spec here. Cursor basically output around 6 tasks. Here, pre-dev, much more in depth. I mean, user stories and acceptance criteria. And now on the right, we're just going to click build. And then here we're going to say, yes, please build and be sure to mark off tasks as in progress and complete as you go. Basically, the only thing you have to do here, so what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to run everything. So just hopefully it doesn't wipe my file system, just so I don't have to go back and forth and click this every single time. Okay, cursor's running this stuff, not really letting me minimize this, so I can't really see what it's doing well here. Here, they're both installing things. Yes, Cursor has this nice little markdown thing, but we have our web interface as well where we can actually go, and if I refresh this, it's kind of cool that both these agents are still on autopilot. You can see we can visualize our whole app here, and we can edit this spec seamlessly. We have our Gantt chart roadmap, so we have the markdown display here as well. um, Okay, it's starting to create create the app. Looks like they're both using Next.js. So I'm gonna just sit here and switch between these guys. Um, Maybe move this over a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on. I really don't like how we can't minimize this because there's only a really small area for me to scroll here, but whatever. At least it's doing something. I guess this is what coding is these days, just sitting back. One thing about the cursor plan mode, I mean, with these six to-dos, I mean, it's great, but is six really enough to implement a full stack app? Like for Perplexity, I'm not so sure because that puts a lot of weight on the model itself. You know, our whole thing on pre-dev is like let the model focus on code only and everything else. Um, you know, the plan should be it shouldn't have to worry about intent, acceptance criteria, anything like that. Basically, the plan should tell the agent exactly what to do without question and really just has to worry about code level stuff. But here it seems like with only six subtasks, putting a lot of weight on the model's shoulders. I wouldn't doubt that this one on the right is going to be a little faster, but we're not looking for which one's faster right now because when we're building a real app, we want scalability. We want the end product to be better. Um, it's like it's using Clerk here. We don't have API keys and stuff like that, but like just let it run. The battle of the agents, creating API routes on the left. Okay, guy on the right's already done, so we get to see what they spit out. For us, we can for the pre-dev version, we could just go back to the plan, pre.dev spec, kind of see where it is. It is forgetting to mark these tasks off, which is a problem. So quickly, I'm just going to queue up, say, don't forget to mark off the tasks on the pre-dev spec, just so it remembers. Sometimes you got to interrupt it and nudge it along. Vibe PMing, I call it. Because we want to be able to see what the progress is here. Okay. Looks like this guy is creating a setup guide. They're using Next.js AI SDK. Okay, nice. So it actually started marking things off. This was the setup milestone. Don't forget to mark in progress as well. It's literally just nudging me. These agents cannot listen to directions. I gave it one direction, just check off as you go. But also, this is 22 do, so I mean, it just shows you like already a little more in depth, even using Cursor's native to do combined with this spec. And this is our fast spec. It's not even deep spec. Deep spec goes way more in depth, file awareness, architectural awareness. It's just the user stories, acceptance criteria. Where pre-dev excels is in planning because we've specialized on this for the last like year or two, and now we're giving it to every coding agent. Okay, the guy on the right looks like the build is successful, so he's building it. Just want to run it locally. Okay, now it's actually doing in progress. So it's on milestone two. It spent a good amount of time just on setup. Um, and here you can see it's working on the export history, authentication. I mean, how many MDs does this guy need to make on the right? I don't know. The guy on the left, pre-dev, is updating the spec with the progress. You know, if they just give that same markdown view for any markdown file, then we could get this nice little um, markdown look as well. Another markdown file. Like this just shows you like a bunch of unnecessary documentation this thing is creating, honestly. It's like just run it, bro. But we're not gonna interfere. So where is it at right now? It's on milestone five, so still got a ways to go on the left. The thing is, like, with all these MD files, is like, am I actually gonna read all this shit? Probably not. Like, it's too hard to keep track of like seven MD files. Like, another one. Like, this just shows you that if you don't align the agent, you're gonna, it's just gonna run off into the wilderness. Okay, create a comprehensive setup guide and Prisma client. Just shows you the like fast spec, you know, much more in depth for the same amount of planning time. Okay, let's just say like let's run it locally for the cursor plan mode, Perplexity version. Now Predevs is doing the build and stuff like that too. It generated the Prisma schema. I don't know about the API keys for now. Okay, looks like it's running on localhost 3000. So let's Perplexity clone. This is the cursor plan mode version. Let's just try one of these guys. Okay, doesn't really do too much. Just say like San Francisco Giants game. Okay, that's all it does. Literally all it does. Granted, oh, yeah, I mean, is this truly a Perplexity clone or is it just just taking input and output? But I guess we don't have the API key, so maybe not. The actual UI pretty much sucks, but let's see where pre-dev's at. Okay, so still messing around with building this. Interesting. Needs clerk keys. So this actually has authentication. It's already a little bit more, we're pretty much done with this. I mean, there's not, this is the final product that Cursor submitted. Doesn't really do too much. Not bad though. See what predev does. Running this build. Mm. So it's kind of stuck on the clerk API key thing because we don't really have a clerk API key right now. Um, let's just run this locally without API keys. This is less of a pre-dev problem, more of a just demo versus, I probably should have, I have Doppler. I could have probably done Doppler setup and use my own API keys, but for now, it's just, I guess it looks like it's creating like a demo, dummy demo stuff. Once again, we're pretty much only worried about end product here. I would say that, yeah, once again, this is more of a just testing it locally, mock response type thing. Okay. It's adding these dummy API keys and mock responses to these pages. You probably could have prompted it at the beginning to do that. I mean, they might both be on localhost 3000. That's the only issue. So let's see. Okay. Wait. Let me just say, can you run it on localhost 3002? How you accept all these changes at once? I don't know why it's not. Okay, there we go. So that looks not too bad. Okay, that's sick. It actually works versus this guy, which does nothing at all. So that shows you the power of pre-dev and how, hello, can even ask follow-ups, get the actual sources, and it actually goes to the right thing. Even though this is mock data, but still took us like an extra couple little debuggings for the CSS, but that was more Cursor's fault than ours, I would say. So you guys be the judge. What do you think? Try out the pre-dev MCP today.